Hi family, how you all doing? I hope you guys are doing very good. So family, I've been seeing these videos circulating the internet about Erika, Kirk and the JD Vance. Their hug, this is not just an ordinary hug. A lot of you can say what you want to say, but you can't fool us, okay? That hug, I think that hug covered the whole speech. That hug said it all. Let me tell you guys two things. Either they are already into the relationship or they are about to enter the relationship, because what I said, that the two of them have feelings for each other. And you know, of course, people are like, oh, what about the wife of JD Vance? You should start taking care of yourself by now, because it's obviously clear to us that they are two have something going on, not just political thing going on, but more than that. Okay, so guys, for her to say that she can't replace her husband, but she's blessed to have JD Vance, it says a whole lot of things. So let's watch this clip together. Okay, let me know what you think. All right, and I will get back for more commentaries. Okay.
No one will ever replace my husband. No. But I do see some similarities of my husband in JD and Vice President JD Vance. I do. And that's why I'm so blessed to be able to introduce him tonight, because he understands the fight that we're up against.
I told y'all this woman is not grieving. She's glowing. She's literally happier than a cat at a fish fry. Look at her. And not only did she have adoring eyes for JD Vance, same adoring eyes for Donald Trump. Sis is laughing all the way to the bank. Somebody say, oh, we love Charlie. She like, Charlie who? And understand, those of you who love Charlie Kirk, you're grieving more for Charlie Kirk than she is. This woman has moved on faster than the Wi-Fi at a hotel lobby. Look at her. She's smiling like she found out her student loans were forgiven. Oh, but it don't end there. Now, when I saw this picture, I was like, now, wait a minute. We're going way too far here. Somebody need to call HR, because I know for damn sure this hug comes with benefit. Look at her. She's grieving like the insurance check already cleared. She got the money's in the bank. She looks freer than a kid on their last day of school. Y'all gotta understand, none of this is happenstance. So when y'all see all that performative grief, she's laughing all the way to the bank. Don't get it twisted. Sister girl is leaning into this victimhood shit and making money. Faux show.
Holy shit, they are trying to replace Usha Vance with Erika Kirk. Because Erika Kirk and JD Vance is their Christian nationalist wet dream. And you won't convince me otherwise. Because what is this? What is this body language? When did we start putting our hands up in the hair of our friends when we hug? Yeah, no. You don't. This is weird. Oh, and then there's this one. JD, why are your hands so low? There's no reason for them to be on her hips, but there they are. But if that's not enough, here is her introducing him at Turning Point.
I am tremendously blessed and honored tonight to be able to introduce to you a very, very dear friend and his wife. They are incredible. And I see no one will ever replace my husband. No. But I do see some similarities of my husband in JD and Vice President JD Vance. I do.
And if you're not convinced yet that they're trying to replace her with Erika Kirk, this is him when asked by a student about him and his wife's difference in like their religious beliefs, and he ends it with this.
Do I hope eventually that she is somehow moved by the same thing that I was moved in by church? Yeah, I honestly do wish that, because I believe in the Christian gospel, and I hope eventually my wife comes to see it the same way.
He wants her to fall in line. He wants her to be a Christian nationalist just like him. And if he can't convince her, he'll find a new one.
I've gotten several requests to decode this video with Erika Kirk and JD Vance. Let's look at JD Vance's side of the hug first. He gives a tight hug with a pat on the back. So some people often pat people on the back. That's just kind of how they manage a longer hug. And for some people, that patting on the back is what they do to comfort someone else. He also rests his hands after the hug for a second on her waist area, which can be a sign of affection and or romantic interest. It's the move to slide her hands up and grasp and cradle his head that is getting so much attention. This is a move that we women do when we are in a deep kiss, which is why it looks so very intimate. Erika then ends her hug by grasping his shoulders, which is a sign of affection and closeness. That said, grief can do really wonky things to humans, but this is wonky for sure. I'm Yanni Sarnblad, and I teach microexpressions and all things nonverbal.
No one will ever replace my husband. No. But I do see some similarities of my husband in JD and Vice President JD Vance. I do. And that's why I'm so blessed to be able to introduce him tonight.
Excuse me, what? No one can replace my husband, but I do see similarities of my husband in JD. This whole thing is literally theater at this point. People have grieved their pets who have passed away longer than Erika Kirk has grieved her husband. This woman has been smiling more than ever since Charlie's life was taken for the world to see. Now while JD Vance was pressed on his stance on a specific nation, then he's distancing himself from Palantir, saying I disagree with surveilling Americans. Really, then why did Peter Thiel make the largest contribution of $15 million to your 2022 Senate campaign? Peter Thiel, the same man who owns the largest AI database on personal information. These people are playing on your heartstrings and manipulating Christian Americans. This isn't politics anymore. It's a battle of discernment and your soul.
Putting your hands in a man's hair when you hug him, that is a very intimate thing to do. And if you're wondering why I'm talking about that, it's because we're talking about the hug heard around the world. And everyone was trying to comfort JD Vance by showing this image where he had his hand on his hip. But if you watch the video, this is not what it looks like. His hand brushed, like, he's not the problem here. This is what I have a problem with. Girl, what are you doing? Now, I went and visited my old job last week or a week or two ago, and I saw some of my old coworkers who are men, who I was close with. They were like my friends. And when I saw them, it had been a while, so I gave them hugs. And I started thinking to myself, if I had, like, put my hands on the back of their heads when I hugged them, how like, they would have been like, whoa, what the fuck? I don't know. Dude, Usha, girl, you're in danger. She's with the leather pants and the crop top. I would be upset if someone did that to my husband or boyfriend. I'm just saying.
Usha, you in danger, girl. Usha Vance, you should look for an exit plan. Because I've been married for, oh my God, I don't even know how many years. Almost 9 years. I've been with my wife for almost 15 years. And I've never even thought about putting my hands on another woman like he has for Miss Erika Kirk. So there's that. Yeah, Usha, you should start to question a few things if you haven't already. It's pretty alarming. It's pretty alarming what has been happening. And especially what your husband's been saying, about like mixing cultures and all that. He doesn't seem like he's a fan of that right now. I'd look for an exit plan.
At first, I was giving her all the grace in the world, right? Your husband get hit like that in front of the whole world, I'm giving you grace. But now the stargazing and the overly dramatic emotions is coming off really, really weird, all right? On top of that, at the event the other day, the way her and JD Vance were hugging just seemed a little touchy. I'm not claiming that there's anything going on there. I'm just talking about the visual and the way it looked. It did not look right, okay? I'm not the only person that's saying this or thinking it. But the over dramatic, I understand she's a trained actor, I believe, right? In the model, but that can't be your whole personality. And it seems like that's her entire personality. Everything she does just seems like she's playing a role, right? It's just giving everybody the icks. On top of how close her and JD Vance has came Now, there's rumors swirling and roaring about JD Vance possibly leaving his wife for Erika Kirk. Listen, if JD is dumb enough to do something like that, his political career is over, because you show zero loyalty to anything. You married to the brown woman, Sasha. You picked your poison. You made your bed. You got to sleep in that bed, all right? I understand that the right is getting real racialist right now, but I don't think that's the play, all right? I don't think JD Vance is leaving his wife for Erika. But the dramatics around this entire thing is just starting to stink. Really, it's starting to fucking stink, all right? To be honest, I'm off of Erika. I'm off of TPUSA. I'm off of it. Too many lies, too much hiding, too many secrets. Nothing about that entire situation, that group over there, is giving me any confidence in the future of America.
I don't care what happens to Usha Vance. I mean, we all saw it coming. A tale as old as time. An extremely educated and successful woman of color marries a white man. As per usual, a woman of color with an extremely promising career gives it all up to bear and raise his children. In case you aren't aware, Usha Vance is of Indian descent. Her parents are immigrants to California and raised her with Hindu faith. She went to Stanford University and met J.D. Vance when she was at Yale Law. As a registered Democrat voting for the Democratic Party for several years, in 2022 she decided to switch teams and register as a Republican. This woman went to Stanford and to Yale Law, only to be disrespected on stage and asked to completely convert her religion, her belief, and her entire identity as a Hindu Indian woman to go ahead and somehow move towards Christianity. I mean, whatever happened to unconditional love and loving your spouse no matter what? Now, maybe I'm a little too conservative and a prude for these conservative evangelical Christians, but I've never hugged my guy friends where it's pelvis to pelvis. I don't even think I've ever held any of the guys I've dated this close. Now, the only time that my pelvis touches that of a man is when I'm straddling him and I'm about to smash.
Here's a weird update of what's happening in America today. A rally, J.D. Vance and Erika Kirk embraced like they were a couple who seemed very familiar with each other. Because this video... and this video are definitely the same energy. I'm just saying. On top of that, he made a public declaration that he wanted his wife to convert to Christianity, which seems like a buildup for him to maybe divorce his wife very soon and marry Erika Kirk for a bid for president.
My wife did not grow up Christian. I think it's fair to say that she grew up in a Hindu family. Do I hope eventually that she is somehow moved by the same thing that I was moved in by church? Yeah, I honestly do wish that, because I believe in the Christian gospel, and I hope eventually my wife comes to see it the same way.
Wow, the pressure is getting worse.
Because why is she, a widower whose husband was violently murdered, saying that no one reminds her of her husband but J.D. Vance, and then J.D. Vance is hugging her in the same week that he's hoping that his wife converts to Christianity, in the same week that he's saying no one wants to live next to people who don't speak English, and his wife's family doesn't speak English in America. America is one big telenovela.
This does not look normal whatsoever. Everything about this feels off. Like, lady, wasn't your husband taken out for the world to see? And you're wearing tight leather pants? I guess she ditched the whole trad wife routine faster than they found Tyler Robinson. No friends run their hands through a man's hair. This is not a hug of grieving and comfort. Literally, no grieving widow acts like this. Skipping straight to acceptance and selling merch. Why is he holding her waist? Then she says she sees similarities of her husband in JD.
But I do see some similarities of my husband in JD and Vice President JD Vance. I do. And that's why I'm so blessed to be able to introduce him tonight.
Seconds later, JD Vance says he wants his wife to become a Christian. What Christian values are on show here? JD Vance is on the Christian grift and it's so blatantly obvious. Do not let these people manipulate you. None of this feels real, every move feels staged. It just makes me believe more and more that Erika Kirk was in on it. Because once people start seeing it, the whole act falls apart.
So, does anyone else think JD Vance's first wife, Usha, might be looking for an exit plan right about now? I mean, it's bad enough that she's married to a guy who went on national TV and said it's totally fine for Americans to want to live next to people who are just like them and speak the same language. Then, she has to sit back and watch him all over Erika Kirk, who, let's be real, looks like she's trying to lock down another famous guy. But it doesn't stop there. JD Vance literally goes on stage and shames his wife for not being Christian, saying he hopes she'll convert and find the right path. As if that's not enough, he also ties immigration to assimilation, which, if you know anything about Usha's upbringing in a traditional Hindu immigrant family, makes this whole situation extra awkward. I don't know about you, but I can't imagine many women would be cool with their husband talking about them like that in public and then getting all touchy-feely with another recently widowed woman in front of everyone. That's just, wow.
I am tremendously blessed and honored tonight to be able to introduce to you a very, very dear friend and his wife. They are incredible. And I see no one will ever replace my husband. No. But I do see some similarities of my husband in JD and Vice President JD Vance. I do. And that's why I'm so blessed to be able to introduce him tonight, because he understands the fight that we're up against, and he can articulate that in a way that transcends race, that transcends demographic backgrounds. He's an amazing man. So please help me welcome to the stage Vice President JD Vance.
Take a look at this video. JD Vance and Erika Kirk spoke to students today at the University of Mississippi. Charlie Kirk's widow stunned the crowd when she walked out and gave JD Vance a hug. However, when Erika Kirk stepped out on stage, people online noticed something. Do you see it? I'll keep you guys updated.
Lord have mercy. You guys are not imagining things. JD Vance and Erika Kirk are probably knocking boots, and if they aren't yet, they will. And I'm going to tell you why. I looked at their synastry. Yeah. The first thing that jumped out is they have a Venus-Pluto conjunction between them. This is one of the most intense magnetic attraction aspects you can have between two people in astrology. It can show an irresistible pull toward the person, fixation, almost an obsessive type of attraction. It can show sexual intensity. Yeah, it's a lot. That's a big one. And it can also show forbidden attractions. So this can be an aspect between two people that shows a secret relationship or an affair. Then I look and they have Venus conjunct Moon together, which is one of the most naturally affectionate inner aspects you can have between two people in astrology. It shows two people who just get each other, who like to take care of each other, have mutual appreciation, like to be around each other, feel very familiar with each other, but is a very naturally affectionate inner aspect. Maybe that explains their hands on the hip and head. I don't know, but that can show wanting to be physically near each other and feeling emotionally safe together. They also have Venus sextile Neptune, which can show a sweet, tender, romantic type of chemistry between them. They also probably see the best in each other, are forgiving to each other, and want to be really kind to each other. Then they have Venus trine Pluto, which can show a strong pull toward each other, both physically and emotionally. Also, this is connection that deepens over time. And this is also a sexually magnetic connection. And lastly, they have Mars squared Neptune between them, which is another reason I think there could be an affair, because this can show forbidden attractions, secrecy, unclear boundaries, crossing boundaries, commitment issues. She's more compatible with him than she was with her late husband. But y'all are not imagining things. And like I said in my last video before this even came up, JD Vance has Venus in the 12th and Usha has Venus conjunct Neptune. And I said I wouldn't be surprised if there was an affair. 2 days later, he's booed up.
There's not a single scenario in the world where I would be hugging a woman around their waist as a married man. No, there's none. There's none. And I just don't like my wife. There's no way. This can't be like I'm the outlier for thinking like that. At what point would a wife have that type of hand placement when hugging another man? It's just no.
So y'all remember when I said ain't nobody need to worry about Erika Kirk because she's going to be married to somebody high up in the ranks within the year of being out. She's going to be dating somebody. She's going to be married to somebody in 2 years because that's how these Christian people operate up in the right-wing government. Remember when I said that and everybody got real mad at me? Like a lot of people got real mad at me about that. And you can be mad. You can be mad, but that'll make you right. And don't make you right. What the fuck is that? Like this coming on the heels of JD Vance saying that he hopes that his wife, who is Hindu, by the way, converts to Christianity and finds the truth. Usha, I don't like you, but girl, you're in danger. Have we ever had a vice president like go through an active divorce before and and marry somebody else? This administration's shaping up for all kinds of firsts. I really like how she has on like her black pants because like she's grieving her husband, who by the way literally died like not a little over a month ago. She made sure she got it made out of his favorite couch upholstery though. I'll tell you what, I can't get over the hand on the head. What the fuck is this? This is so weird. I don't put my hands on the head of men who like I don't have a relationship like that with. This is like the kind of thing you do when your hookup hasn't talked to you in a while, right? And you see him again at like some kind of event and you try to remember, you try to help him recall, a little bit of like what y'all had and why aren't you texting me back? And you reach up and grab his head like that a little bit. That's what this vibe gives. Happy Halloween. This is terrifying. This is worse than anything I come up with.
Okay, you guys, I have a slightly different take that I haven't seen anyone share. I know everyone feels like this affair has definitely already started. I am not convinced. I'm not saying that I don't think it will happen. I just think it hasn't started yet. Because to me, this is like step one in the plan. It all actually feels very high school to me, this whole setup. And in a lot of ways, it actually feels like a high school movie. Right? JD Vance would be our way in. He's our protagonist. He's the, Jonah Hill, Michael Cera character, right? And he's the main guy. He is running for student council. He's on the debate team. His girlfriend, Usha, is on the debate team. They are kind of like a nerdy power couple, but they make sense on paper, even though she's like definitely too good for him. And she helps him with his campaign. And she, is the one staying up with him all night to make the posters and all that stuff, right? And so then there's this girl, Erika, who's already on student council. She wins every year. She's pretty, she's smart, she's popular, but not in like a mean girl way. She's not a Regina George. She's like the girl who does Bible study and outwardly Christian and very love thy neighbor, right? So then Usha helps JD with his campaign. He ends up winning. He and Erika are on student council together. Usha isn't even worried about Erika because Usha knows that Erika is way out of JD's league. There's no way that Erika is going to be interested in JD. Okay, so this beat is pivotal to the story. It's, I think, our, launch into Act 2. This is what puts us on the journey of the movie, of this high school movie, which is, about getting the girl. And when this hug happens, the reason that this is the launch into Act 2 is because him feeling her hands in his hair is what indicates to him that he's got a shot. And to me, this is very purposeful on her part because, you know, it's such an intimate move, but it's also not something that you would mistakenly do. This is not the Coldplay couple. Like, these people know that they aren't on stage together. And so to me, if she made the decision to do that intimate gesture, it was on purpose. It was to signal something. And I think that it was to signal to us, oh, I wonder if something's going on there. But I think more importantly, it was to signal to him that he has a shot. Because now it's the story is going to write itself. I mean, this is Ariana Grande and Ethan, right? It's like, we all know what's going to happen. They don't have to already be in an affair for him to realize in this moment, oh, for her to do this so publicly feels very calculated and very calculating. If these people were secretly having an affair, they are going to much greater lengths to hide it. Actually, what happens here is the public writes the narrative for them. So she doesn't have to approach him. She doesn't have to, slide into any DMs or whatever, right? Same, vice versa. None of that needs to happen because the public has decided that they are having an affair. And so now he thinks it's possible. He knows it's possible, right? Because he feels like, oh, the people think that we could be together. So now the seed has been planted, right? He is now wondering, wait, is she into me? Because why would she have done this in front of all of these people, in front of all of these cameras, if she weren't into me? So now that solves really any question of whether or not she's genuine. And I would be really interested to know the details of the story of how Erika and Charlie met and got together. It was supposed to be a work interview. He was interviewing her for work and she then asked her on a date or whatever. But it's interesting to see how much of a chameleon she is. Just looking at videos of her from April of this past year, her demeanor is completely different. And I don't mean because of the grief. I mean, that was a different role that she was playing. She was playing, this sort of angelic wife. And now she's a completely different version. And again, I know that grief makes people different, but it's sort of like that clip of Paris Hilton testifying before Congress where she's doing her baby voice and then she slips into her actual voice and you hear her gravitas.
And I love your jacket. The sparkles are amazing. Wanted to find out who made it later. But I think the most important thing is they need access to therapy, counseling, mentorship.
That is how I feel about Erika. She is playing a role, and I wouldn't be surprised if something like this is very similar to the way that she got Charlie, because there's something so bold about this move, and to me it seems clear that he's not involved. It does not, he kind of seems like me, and I think that's part of the thing. It feels like she's playing him in front of our very eyes, and that is what's so interesting to me. So in the movie version, it's like she basically realizes that she needs to use him in some way to get the power that she wants, right? And so it's like, if she wants the prom to be under the sea themed, and he's saying that we can't do themes for the prom, then she gets him to be her prom date in order to basically neutralize him as a threat so that now she can do whatever she wants. Again, that's just the movie version. So let me know what you think.
Snatched. That's the only word I can think of right now. And no, I'm not talking about going to the gym and, I'm going to go get my fitness on and get slim thick, get myself snatched. No, I'm saying that I feel like every fella, their whole lives, Their lives will be snatched out of their body if they were married and did something like this. I'm telling you right now, Erika Kirk and the hug with JD Vance that everybody's talking about right now, I'm going to be real. I don't know where it came from. I don't know why it happened. But a lot of people are thinking that something weird is going on here. And I'm going to tell you this. It could be like a Christian hug. You know what I'm saying? But even though the hug doesn't look like so much of a Christian hug, you know what I mean? And then at the same time, married men, to my married men out there, and taken men as well, okay? Spoken for men, all right? When you hug another woman that is not your partner, are you doing full body hug? And then the hand on the waist? Bruh, the hand on the waist, are you doing that? And are you able to walk back to your partner, to your boo thing, without having your head completely removed from your body? I'm asking for a friend because I'm going to be real. Those photos and that moment was weird. And again, aren't you like hugging them like this? You know what I mean? Like butt out like this. Like, yeah, I love you too. Butt out like this. You're not doing the whole pelvis to pelvis, holding the waist, her hand in the back of your head. I'm telling you right now, you are not going to be alive the next morning. Am I wrong or am I wrong? I'm just saying. Fellas, the ones that are taking, and ladies, you were hugging a man like this? You mean to tell me that this would be okay? Your man wouldn't be like, baby, what's up with that? What's up with that, girl? You tell me he'd be fine with that? They were so close that they could have made a baby together. You feel me? It's weird. It's weird. But you tell me. I'm just saying. I can see it being innocent, but it was a step a bit too far. Let me know what your thoughts are. My God. JD got some explaining to do, cabrón. Damn.
Look, I'm going to say it because it's got to be said. Some of y'all out there have got too much time on your hands and not enough brains in your head. Real life weirdo activity. Now, folks out there are now taking this moment right here. Y'all see that hug? Like, do you want your significant other being hugged like that? Probably not. But they're taking this moment right here to insinuate that, there's something going on right there. That's called wishful thinking. Now, when Jesus said that in the end times, the hearts of many would grow cold, I didn't understand that until this very day here today, or at least the last couple months, if not the last couple years, where you have people who are willing to take a recent widow and turn her into drama, gossip, and entertainment. Turns out to be the exact same woman right there. That is Erika Kirk. And that's how she hugs. She does the head hug. That's what she does. That's her thing. Now, some of y'all are looking at this and you're thinking, oh, that's sus. But you're doing a whole lot more than hugging somebody else's spouse, grabbing them on the head. I'm just going to leave it right there. Maybe you want to take the log out your own eye before you get to the speck in somebody else's. And likely you will see after the log's out yours that there was no speck to begin with. I'm just saying. Get your life sorted out. Get a hobby.
JD Vance will divorce Usha and marry Erika Kirk, and they will run for the Republican ticket in 2028. The evidence is there. She's like running her fingers through his hair, that hug. Wasn't she having an active affair with Donald Trump because of the way that they hugged at Charlie Kirk's funeral? I thought she was involved with Trump. Both. But Trump is going to be out and JD Vance is going to be in, and she realizes that. And so I'm not actually going to refute it. This time I'm going to go the other direction. Let's see. Yeah, this happens. You're right. What does that mean exactly? That you guys are corrupt and that your moral fiber is just a facade. You already believe that. This proves that further. So you wouldn't back JD Vance because of a lack of moral fiber. It's a bad leader. I wouldn't vote for anybody that is involved in a relationship like that. How did both Joe Biden and Kamala Harris start their marriages again? Shut up.
So, family, say what you want, okay? People can say whatever they want, but you see that hug, he spoke louder than the whole speech she gave that day. And the message wasn't unity. It was watch how we play the game together. Okay? Anyways, thank you so much for watching. And if you find this video very interesting, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. And of course, support the channel by subscribing to the channel if you haven't subscribed yet. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye and stay safe.